Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all. I'm delighted to be back here again this year at this prestigious event, the Chambers Ireland Corporate Social Responsibility Awards 2015. And I would like to thank Chambers Ireland and particularly Ian Talbot, your CEO, for his invitation and for the opportunity to address you all this evening. So Ian, I know you pretty well at this stage. You might sit down now. I want to offer my congratulations to you and your team, and to Tina Roach and her colleagues also at Business in the Community Ireland, to both of you for this initiative and for promoting CSR policies and practices in Ireland. I think it's extremely important that we have occasions like this to acknowledge the work that goes on in each and every organisation. So we all have to be socially responsible and show leadership. And I mean that in a holistic way, not just individually, not just in our companies and organisations, but also at government level. And I want to talk a little bit about that maybe later on. Social responsibility, according to the world's modern immediate dictionary, i.e. Google, is defined as an ethical framework which advocates that an entity, be it an organisation or individual, has an obligation to act for the benefit of society at large. I think quite a good definition. So it is a duty for every individual, and every individual has to perform so as to maintain a balance between the economy and the ecosystems and community values. Needless to say, not all groups hear the message, but in Chambers Ireland and the groups it represents, we're very fortunate that the message is not just clearly heard, but by each and every one of you it is also understood and practiced. No man or woman is an island after all, and our future is something we all create. This is true, and what is also true is that no sector, be it business or government or otherwise, can operate in isolation from others. We all collectively have a duty to care for one another. The success of our economy, indeed one could say our society, depends on each and every one of us, depends on all our stakeholders, acting with responsibility, with integrity, and with due regard for the impact of their actions on their immediate communities and society at large. Integrity, honesty, our willingness to share and hold out a helping hand is what will define us all in time. And time does move quick. More and more it is being shown here and abroad that companies that incorporate social responsibility into their business model prove that a dedication to these initiatives goes a long way, both for the cause and for their reputation. As the American writer Henry David Thoreau once commented, "Goodness is the only investment that never ever fails." I think we will all agree that if one really wants customers to keep coming back, you need to provide them with the best service possible, obviously, and also to let them know that their money will be also doing some good. A business that is recognised for being socially and environmentally conscious must reap the rewards, because today's customers are absolutely far more conscious of their environment and certainly more discerning of their needs than ever before. Call it what you will, globalisation, becoming more socially aware, or just discerning with our disposable income. We've all become increasingly conscious not only of what we buy, but also how the goods and services we buy have been produced. To quote the industrialist William Ford Jr., "A good company delivers excellent products and services, and a great company does all that and strives to make the world a better place." Individuals are understandably demanding that companies and organisations act more socially responsible. Chambers and its members' organisations have, I am pleased to say, an enviable head start on others in this regard, and I absolutely support that and welcome that. It is appropriate to remind ourselves of the reasons for the establishment of these awards more than a decade ago. The CSR Awards have developed over the past 12 years and now offer the business community a prestigious platform on which to promote their efforts in CSR and to gain recognition for best practice. The awards are the result of an initiative partnered by Chambers Ireland and Business and Community Ireland, who since being established in 2002 have been very active in promoting the adoption of CSR as well as facilitating the transfer of skills from businesses to the non-profit sector. Over time, focus and intent can shift off-centre, but not in this case, thankfully. Today, we continue to recognise the work being carried out by our Irish and multinational companies to improve the lives of their employees and to enhance the civic environment in which they operate and the wider society in which they operate and the wider society generally. This, without doubt, is a unique competition, a very unique competition, that offers the business community a chance to promote their efforts in CSR and gain recognition for doing so. The principles of CSR fit very well with my own department's objective of promoting and supporting the sustainable and inclusive development of all communities. In my role as Minister, I work with a wide range, a very, very wide range of community initiatives, all of which are only possible because of the alliances that have formed between communities, voluntary agencies, government, regional authorities, and of course all the various different businesses. We recognise that through philanthropic funding and other CSR activities, the business sector provides much needed supports across the spectrum of the government's priorities. These include areas as diverse as the environment, education, as well as tackling disability and disadvantage. A wide range of social and community initiatives are only possible because of the alliances that have been formed between the business sector, community organisations and communities themselves. The community sector itself also needs to adapt to the new economic realities that we face and to operate efficiently and innovatively, and they are doing so. They also need to become better at targeting a more diverse range of supports, including partnerships within the corporate sector, in order to develop potential, and that is happening at speed. It is essential that community organisations can tap into the many crossover benefits which can flow from a well-cultivated relationship with the business community. These are essential to the ongoing development of thriving communities throughout the country. My department's support of tonight's event is a practical example of the way that government can assist with the development of CSR, and it will continue. We recognise the significant contribution that CSR makes across the spectrum of all government departments and the agencies, and I congratulate everyone who works in those. These are organisations represented here this evening that are tackling issues from the environment, disability, raising standards of education, particularly for disadvantaged groups, and tackling poverty in the developing world, and many other issues. All of these challenges exercise government on a daily basis, and I know this only too well. We will all be better off as businesses and as individuals if we can make more progress in addressing all of these issues. And the organisations represented here this evening are amongst the best allies we have in bringing around the changes that we all collectively desire. Although I do know that many people here, such as yourselves, do not become involved in CSR simply to get awards or recognition. I say that's true for the majority of you anyway. This evening gives us an opportunity to no, that was a joke. This evening gives us an opportunity to shine a light on your work and the benefit that this work brings to local communities, and we all have to thank you for it. I'm always amazed every year before this event the volume of various different projects and work from smaller organisations, smaller businesses, all the way up to the large multinationals. It's absolutely incredible. And the people who put the effort in there go way beyond, you know, the bounds of what they should, and it becomes a vocation for them. And I see that, and those people are incredible people. It's another form of volunteerism as far as I'm concerned, and they deserve great praise. Every single one of you deserves great praise. So the work that you do makes a difference in your local communities, for their employees, the environment, and it sometimes goes unnoticed. That's why I'm delighted that we are supporting these awards, and supporting the organisations here. I know this year's applications were of exceptional quality, and I congratulate all of you who were on shortlists, and indeed all of you who have won. Corporate social responsibility, as far as I'm concerned, though, goes far beyond standalone activities such as recycling waste or working with charities, important as these activities undoubtedly are. In my view, it is about acting with integrity in all parts of the business process, all parts, about doing the right thing. There is never the wrong time to do the right thing, even when the right thing does not always look like the most profitable thing, so that society can develop in tandem with the business involved. Corporate responsibility ties directly with social responsibility and indeed community leadership. And I started off this evening by saying it's not just about individuals or businesses. It's also about government. And government needs to show social responsibility too in everything that it does. And I personally believe that now is the time for my government, our government, to show social responsibility and most of all leadership to Europe and the world, indeed, with the current refugee crisis that we now have. As a senior member of the government, as the deputy leader of one of the two parties in government, I believe, in fact, I know that we should be drawing up plans to take thousands, not hundreds of refugees into this country in the coming months and the coming years. We need to embrace those who need our humanitarian support, and we need to show compassion to those in the circumstances that we all know that they're in. Yes, it will put pressure on our public services. Yes, it will put pressure on various different issues and funding. But Europe is crying out for leadership. The world is crying out for leadership. And Ireland has never been found wanting, ladies and gentlemen. And Ireland isn't going to be found wanting this time either. But so the world and Europe needs us to step forward in what is, from a social responsibility point of view, one of the worst humanitarian crises of this generation. One of the reasons I'm very proud to be Irish, and I'm very proud to be Irish, is that as a nation and as a race and as a group of people in this country, we've always been welcoming, compassionate, and we've always embraced people. We've always liked to see people get on. We hate to see people falling down below a certain level. We have a care and ethos. We have a social conscience. I suppose as a country we've been through a lot ourselves, so it's developed into our psychic. We need to be leaders, and we need to step up as a society and as a country and face into this challenge which is facing us all, and we've all seen so much about, not just in the past few days with those harrowing images, but in the past number of months, and indeed long before that. We have a capacity as a society, as a country, to be more humane, to be more accepting, to acknowledge that whatever difficulties we have, and we have difficulties in this country domestically, I know it only too well, and I know there are many people in this room that know it, in relation to many of our own services. While they are very significant and they are very real issues, they do not compare with that of Aileen Curdy or his family, or the hundreds of thousands, or indeed millions of people who are fleeing the ISIS regime in the Middle East and coming up through Europe. So it's fair to say that Europe probably has been in a bit of shock for the last number of years, the last number of months. And it is now time to snap out of the situation and deal with the crisis that we now find ourselves in. Because if you look at the harrowing images of the last few days in particular, you know, only for a quirk of fate, it could be in any of us. We're so lucky to be where we are tonight. We're so lucky to be where we live. We're so lucky to have everything that we have. And we've come through a lot as a country, and we will come through a lot more. But it's now time we reached out our hands and helped people who need our help. So, I'm the father of 2 young children, and it's incredible the reach that you know, this crisis has had in this country in the last number of weeks and months. I'm going totally off script here, but I personally believe that the Irish people are ahead of the politicians on this issue, and it's now time that the politicians caught up, and that's what we're going to do. So we are going to do an awful lot in the coming weeks and months. There's going to be meetings in the coming days, and we're going to take our social responsibility as a country and as a society very seriously, and we're going to step up to the mark. So I just want to, I wanted to bring social responsibility to a different level. I want to congratulate each and every one of you on all the work that you do, the amazing help that you give to everyone, your amazing capacity to reach out to people, the much diversity of work that you do amongst your communities and further afield, the way in which that has had such an impact in our society. I want to congratulate Chambers Ireland for everything that they're doing here, along with everyone else in promoting this CSR as well. I always end events by saying the following to everyone in the audience. No one has a monopoly on ideas, no one has a monopoly on solutions, and neither do I. At any time anyone ever feels that they need to let me know or give me some solutions or ideas, my email address is alan@alankelly.ie, so don't be afraid to drop me an email. Too many people in my position don't say that enough. Thank you very much for your time tonight, and congratulations.